Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the grace and instruction of our Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And we're also paying our humble obeisance to His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for providing us this wonderful commentary and translation of Bhagavatam. And lastly, following the guidance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, we are praying to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Yadi sevā-vañcitāḥ yasyāḥ kṛpayā vayaṃ labhema sarvaṃ prāpnumaḥ prayojanaṃ dhāmni śrī-bhagavat pade Kṛṣṇa-sambandhi sarvaṃ Yadi jānīmahe tutam Aṣṭādaśasu sahasreṣu ślokānāṃ bhāgavat-oktiṣu Rādhārānīṃ na vindāmaḥ Nishphalam bhagavat yayinam radhikaya kripam vina vyartasyat sarva-pariśramaḥ. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Rādhārānīṃ within the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, all of our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing our reading today from Canto 5, Chapter 19, Text 28. Yadhyatra nasvarga shukhaviveshitam Svitasya shuktasya kritasya shobhanam Tenha janabe smriti majjanma nasyad Varshe hariryad bhajatam samtanoti. We are now living in the heavenly planets, undoubtedly as a result of our having performed ritualistic ceremonies, pious activities, and yagyas, and having studied the Vedas. However, our lives here will one day be finished. We pray at that time, if any merit remains from our pious activities, we may again take birth in Bharatavarsha, as human beings, able to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is so kind that He personally comes to the land of Bharatavarsha and expands the good fortune of its people. Purport. It is certainly as a result of pious activities that one takes birth in the heavenly planets. But from those planets one must nevertheless come down again to earth, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Chine punye marcha lokam vishanti. Text 9.21. Even the demigods must return to earth to work like ordinary men when the results of their pious activities expire. Nevertheless, the demigods desire to come to the land of Bharatavarsha if even a small portion of the merits of their pious activities remains. In other words, to take birth in Bharatavarsha, one must perform more pious activities than the demigods. In Bharatavarsha, one is naturally Krishna conscious, and if one further cultivates his Krishna consciousness, by the grace of Krishna, he certainly expands his good fortune by becoming perfect in Krishna consciousness, and very easily going back home, back to Godhead. In many other places in the Vedic literature, it is found that even the demigods want to come to this land of Bharatavarsha. A foolish person may desire to be promoted to the heavenly planets as a result of his pious activities, but even the demigods from the heavenly planets want to come to Bharatavarsha and achieve bodies that may be very easily used to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeatedly says, Bharata Bhumi Te Haila, Bharat Bhumi Te Haila, Manasya Janma Yara, Janma Sartaka Kari Kara Para Upkara. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 9.41. A human being born in the land of Bhartavarsha has the special prerogative to develop Krishna consciousness. Therefore, those already born in Bhartavarsha should take lessons from the Shastras and Guru, and should fully take advantage of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to be fully equipped with Krishna consciousness. By taking full advantage of Krishna consciousness, one goes back home, back to Godhead. Yanti mad yagino pimam. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore spreading this facility to human society by opening many centers all over the world, so that people may associate with pure devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement, understand the science of Krishna consciousness, and ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. This was 28. Okay. 29 through 30. Jambūdvīpasya charajan upadvipan Aṣṭādaśasu upadishanti sagar atmajar asvanveshana imam mahim parito nikanadbir upakalpitan tadyata svarnapratas chandra shukla avartano ramhana ko mandara harina panchajanya simhalo lanketi. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear king, in the opinion of some learned scholars, 8 smaller islands surround Jambūdvīpa. When the sons of Maharaj Sagar were searching all over the world for their lost horse, they dug up the earth, and in this way 8 adjoining islands came into existence. The names of these islands are Svarnaprastha, Chandrashukla, Avartana, Ramanaka, Mandaraharina, Panchajanya, Simhala, and Lanka." Purport. In the Kurma Purana, there is this statement about the desires of the demigods. Anhadikarino devaha svargasta bharatodbhavam vanchantyatma vimoksarta mudre karte di karinaha. Although the demigods are situated in exalted positions in the heavenly planets, they nevertheless desire to descend to the land of Bhartavarsha on the planet Earth. This indicates that even the demigods are unfit to reside in Bhartavarsha. Therefore, if persons already born in Bhartavarsha live like cats and dogs, not taking full advantage of their birth in this land, they are certainly unfortunate. 31. Evam tava bharatottama Jambūdvīpa varsha vibhago yato padesham upavarnita iti. My dear King Parikshit, O best of the descendants of Bharata Maharaj, I have thus described to you, as I myself have been instructed, the island of Bhartavarsha and its adjoining islands. These are the islands that constitute Jambūdvīpa. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled A Description of the Island of Jambūdvīpa. Now this is the summary for chapter 20. In this chapter there is a description of various islands, beginning with Plakshvadvīpa and the oceans that surround them. There is also a description of the location and dimensions of the mountain known as Lokaloka. The island of Plakshvadvīpa, which is twice as broad as Jambūdvīpa, is surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The master of this island is Idmajiva, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata. The island is divided into 7 regions, each with a mountain and a large river. The second island is called Salmalidvīpa. It is surrounded by an ocean of liquor and is 3,200,000 miles wide, twice as wide as Plakshadweep. The master of this island is Yagyabahu, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata. Like Plakshadweep, this island is also divided into 7 regions, each with a mountain and a very large river. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Chandratma. The third island, which is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter, and is also divided into 7 regions, is called Kusadweep. Its master is Hiranyareta, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata, and its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Agni, the fire god. The width of this island is 6,400,000 miles, or in other words, twice the width of Salmalidweep. The fourth island, Kṛṣṇa-sambandhi, which is surrounded by an ocean of milk, is 12,800,000 miles wide, and is also divided, like the others, into 7 regions, each with a large mountain and a large river. The master of this island is Ghritāprishta, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of water. The fifth island, Shakadweep, which is 25,600,000 miles wide, is surrounded by an ocean of yogurt. Its master is Medhatiti, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. It is also divided into 7 regions, each with a large mountain and a large river. Its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of vayaṃ, air. The sixth island, Pushkardweep, which is twice as wide as the previous island, is surrounded by an ocean of clear water. Its master is Vitihotra, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. The island is divided in 2 by a large mountain named Manasotara. The inhabitants of this island worship Svayambhu, another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Beyond Pushkardweep, there are 2 islands, one always lit by the sunshine and the other always dark. Between them is a mountain called Lokaloka, which is situated 1 billion miles from the edge of the universe. Lord Narayan, expanding his opulence, resides upon this mountain. The area beyond Lokaloka mountain is called Alokavarsha, and beyond Alokavarsha is the pure destination of persons who desire liberation. Vertically, the sun globe is situated just in the middle of the universe. In Antariksha, the space between Bhurloka and Bhuvarloka. The distance between the sun and the circumference of Andagolaka, the globe of the universe, is estimated to be 25 koti yojanas, 2 billion miles. Because the sun enters the universe and divides the sky, it is known as Martanda, and because it is produced from the Hiranyagarbha, the body of the Mahatattva, it is also called Hiranyagarbha. So we will conclude our reading here for today and continue from Canto 5, Chapter 20, Text 1 on Friday. So before we finish for today, were there any comments or questions or anything to share from the assembled devotees?
Hari Om. I teach astronomy and geology, and it's very fascinating to see so many facts here talking about the division of the continents and the ocean surrounding the landforms and the subtectonic plates, if I
Mm-hmm.
have to put them in geological terms, and also the astronomical units that were discussed here, the distance between the sun and the core of the sun, which we
Mm-hmm.
call Hiranyagarbha, which is nothing but the heat that's being generated, and how it emanates the heat and the light to the other planets. I also teach astronomy this semester. So it's very fascinating to see the science being taught, or nowadays is something that has been in existence for so long,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And when people question, like, what do you mean by milk of ocean? What do you mean by ocean of milk? What do you mean by ocean of yogurt? It's contextual rather than you really find like some milk that you can put in coffee or yogurt that you can eat in your bowl. It's the characteristics, it's the nature of those oceans. All the oceans are so different in their nature, in their behavior, in their appearance. And that's what we teach in geology too. Every ocean is different. Every ocean's um, character is different. The way the ocean behaves is different. And the etymology here, or the comparison here that we are doing, is nothing but the characteristics like yogurt, milk, fire, vayu, water. So it's so beautiful, and I'm so happy to connect the dots. When you were reading, I was able to map everything mentally, and then I'm like, this is it, this is it, this is exactly what we learn. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. You can see me gleaning from ear to ear today. Yeah.
Yes, this is Krishna has definitely sent you here at the perfect time to go through this fifth canto, this 20th chapter together, because some of the descriptions that we will find, right, to be transparent about it, some of the descriptions that we find in Bhagavatam um, will differ from some of the scientific descriptions, and some of them will not. And so there has been a lot of work amongst the devotee communities, those who have scientific backgrounds, to try to think about these things very critically and to look at the different vantage points that these statements can be made from, and the implications they could have, so that um, people who are interested in taking Bhagavatam seriously um, won't be discouraged by the cosmological descriptions that they find, because it sounds so different from what we're used to in Western science. And at the same time, it's also important to note that while these descriptions of the cosmos from the perspective of the Vedic sages is very interesting, and it has to do with an evolution of consciousness, actually. Um, but this cosmology is not the central point of Bhagavatam. The central point of Bhagavatam is to showcase the different personal relationships between the different forms of Bhagavan and his devotees, and the pastimes that unfold. And so um, this description of the cosmos is couched and contextualized in that. And so it's ultimately meant in a very mystical and dynamic way to help actually increase um, our love of God, Krishna Prem. And it's very important, actually. Bhagavatam is alive, is living revelation. It's not just some static text on a computer screen or in a book. So a part of that living revelation is the direct personal experience of what comes internally out of us when we read these things. Whether it's excitement or even reservation, and the nuance to our inner experience when we read these things, it's bringing to the surface things that we need to be conscious of within ourselves, so that we can have some self-awareness of what's internal to us, and we can respond to those things. Are these internal uh, are these internal experiences favorable to our spiritual goal? Are they unfavorable? Maybe just not even judge them, just being aware that they're there is the first step. So a part of that living revelation is the pulling out. One devotee I recently listened to, he described it as, we aren't reading Bhagavatam, but Bhagavatam is reading us. It's we're encountered with Bhagavatam, and then due to what the text is saying, these things from within us are being pulled out, and now we get the chance to be like, oh, I didn't know that was there. I wonder why that's there, and some self-analysis can unfold. So that's a big part of these readings. it's very dynamic. It's not just we're here reading some words on a computer screen. It's a very dynamic living experience. So we're feeling very blessed to remember that together here and to experience that together. So thank you.
Swati, I'm glad you brought that up, because all of this is new to me. I'm trying to learn so I can understand. I trust, obviously, Krishna Kesavadas, studying under Puri Maharaj for 7 years, and I want to learn more about Krishna consciousness. But when he was reading about the oceans, I'm like, what do they mean, an ocean of yogurt? But that shows you I'm just taking things literally. So when you said what you said about it's not literal, it's just
The
what's that?
attributes and the characteristics.
Yeah,
Attributes
right,
and the
right.
characteristics.
Yeah, I'm like,
how they behave. Yes.
that opened up my eyes. And Chris, you said before too about the Bhagavatam reads us last week, I think. And I'm like, wow, this is so true, because there's so much I'm just taking literally from my own experience. I'm not thinking beyond that or outside of that. And it's helping to expand me and definitely my knowledge and my understanding of it all. And I remember sitting with Chris and I was going, I have a headache. And he got all excited when I said, I have a headache from thinking about all of this and all the nuances. It's just so much information. And he said, that means your mind is expanding.
So another context that I would like to add is people like to connect everything to true science. True science is more mathematical and evidence based. Now, when I teach astronomy, I also like right from chapter 1 till end, I keep saying that everything is hypothetical. That's what the scientist says. Nobody traveled to Jupiter. It's impossible for people to travel Jupiter. Now, how did they come up with what Jupiter is? Through a telescopic study. It's all through telescopic study. And now they're sending some satellites to the proximity to tell us like what it is. Nobody can go to Jupiter. Literally, Jupiter is a big ball of gas. There is zero land on Jupiter. Nobody can land on Jupiter. That's something that nobody knows, right? And so, how do the scientists tell us what Jupiter is? It's all hypothetical. Somebody has to prove or disprove it. Now, when we take the science given by the scientists and still prove or disprove it, why are we not accepting the theological science or the philosophical science given by the ancient sages? And why are we questioning here? Because they didn't have telescopes? Well, telescope is a medium to see the world. How can you see Chris's mind? You don't have an instrument to see, but as a mother, you can see. That's the instinct. That's the power or superpower that we develop as moms to see or feel how our kids, feel, right? You have gut. When you come across some people, you say, something is not right. How can you say it? Because your human body has so much potential that you can see. Now, sitting here, we doubt the sages that had those potential, but we believe in scientists that sat in their labs and say, you know what? This is the possibility. Great. That's the thing. So we need to stop attaching everything to the evidence based science, because not everything is evidence based science. There is some theological science, there is philosophical science, and there is some cosmic science that we need to start believing in, and that's when we can overcome these. That's the whole liberation. That's where I come into the picture, because I am both. I know the evidence based science in terms of environmental sustainability, geology, astronomy. I exactly know what's in the textbooks, but I also know what our sages said, and I can actually correlate every single piece of information there. If I may add one more context here, in one of the purports or one of the explanations today that we read, we heard that how the other islands were discovered. The horse was missing, and they dug up the land and they discovered the islands. Horses never go hide in underground. So what do we mean by the horse was missing and we dug up the land? Horse is symbolized with your, uncontrollable actions, powers, or desires. Horse is always associated with that. When you are when you are able to control, which means your horse is missing, when you're able to control, you expand your drishti, or you expand your wisdom. Like, I have the desire to watch my cell phone all the time, but when I control my horse, which is the cell phone, I expand my ability to think further, to dig up more places, to discover more lands. That's the whole context. It's not like a horse was hiding and people started digging the continents. It cannot happen technically. So we need to read between the lines, and we need to understand the philosophy behind it. When
This
people
is a
cannot go further, they'll still get stuck with the horse, and they're like, how is it possible? It's not possible, right? Yeah. Sorry, I've taken
it's a
long.
great topic for one of your podcasts.
It's
Yeah.
true. There's a famous, one of the famous paintings that Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had his disciples make was one of the metaphors from the Upanishad where you have five horses being drawn by a charioteer and a passenger. And the five horses are the five senses, and the reins are the mind, and the charioteer is the intelligence, and the passenger is the soul. And so it's trying to show a relationship of that the intelligence is the reins for the senses, and then when the intelligence is impure, then the horses will be going everywhere, and the soul is in the back of the chariot with like an astonished look on their face because it's crazy what's going on. But then when the intelligence is properly aligned and the senses are functioning to propel the chariot forward, then the soul is very peaceful and happy because some spiritual progress is being made. So that's interesting. I didn't actually make that correlation to this verse, Swati. So thank you for bringing that up. It's very nice. And yeah,
I recently studied that Upanishad, and I was just looking for that exact sloka.
ah,
I am just looking at my notes,
good book. Yeah,
but I'll send it. It exactly tells you what each horse
yeah.
resembles. Yeah, it's called Radha Kalpana. It is in Kathopanishad.
Kata Upanishad, correct.
Kathopanishad. It is called Radha Kalpana. Radha means chariot, and Kalpana means imagination or formation, or it could also means writing something.
Mm,
So it tells how to attain moksha.
mm,
Moksha means ultimate liberation. So it
mhm,
talks about Radha Kalpana. In that Radha Kalpana, they talk about what does that whole thing means. The, the symbol of the five horses
mm,
and the reins and the person riding the horse or the charioteer.
mm,
And what does it mean?
mm,
It's not literally a person controlling the five horses. It
mm.
never happens that way. Everything is a symbolic representation of what a human being is, and how we need to control our desires, and how we attain the ultimate moksha, which is liberation. That's the whole purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. So there's lots to discuss on these
There
topics. That's
is,
the
yes.
whole purpose of our Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute. So the future looks bright. We have many conversations to be had. But this morning, I think we'll conclude our meeting here. Um,
I just want to say, Swati, I am so, so grateful and thankful that you found Krishna Keshava. You are a beautiful addition to the family.
Thank you. I am blessed that I got in touch with him, and this is just the beginning. We have so much to do.
yeah.
And, I am like that horse that had no reins, a lost horse, and then I found my chariot, and now we are going to. We are going to do it. He's my God sent brother from heaven. I don't have younger brothers. He's my brother, and it's all Krishna Leela. Yeah, I
Beautiful.
feel so much peace when I'm with him. I only met him once, but as I said, like he's a blessed child. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy for you both.
Yes, yes, yes,
And all of us. Yes.
yes. Thank
All
you.
mercy of Gurus, all mercy of Gurudev. Huh? So Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Tirtha Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glory to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhaktiveda Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Bhakti Subhadra Ju Ki Jai, Ganga Mai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Sarvaṃ Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Nandi Hari 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 Bol, Jai
Haribol.
Uma Devi Dasi Ki Jai,
Jai.
Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī Devi Dasi Ki Jai, Bhakti Swati Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari 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 Bol.
Haribol. Krishna Keshava Das Brahmachari Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.